Good afternoon. The time now is 12:30. I'm Julie Broughton. This is News 6 Extra. Hope things are going well for you on this Tuesday. Thank you so much for spending some time with us this afternoon to get caught up on your news and weather headlines. Our big story in the weather again today continues to be the heat. Temperatures will climb into the mid-90s. That means it will feel like the low 100s, although if you've been outside yet today, you know that it feels a little bit less humid. So we do have some drier air in place, which means our showers and thunderstorms will be a bit more limited than we've seen the last couple of days, but we will still be tracking some sea breeze showers. We'll time all that out for you, coming up with your full forecast for you in just a moment. But first, we start today with growing tensions in the Middle East. President Trump has returned to Washington to monitor the latest developments between Israel and Iran. He left the G summit in Canada early as the conflict enters its fifth day. CBS's Natalie Brand reports the president is pushing for Iran to end its nuclear program.
A cloud of black smoke billowed over the central Israeli city of Herzliya as Iran and Israel continue to trade strikes, while Israel's air defense is intercepting many of the missiles. Some are getting through. An Iranian missile slammed into a block of apartments Monday.
I'm not prepared. Israelis don't want terror. We want peace.
The Israeli military says it continues to target military sites in Iran. But blasts on Monday also shook Iran state TV during a live broadcast. President Trump on social media urged people in Tehran to evacuate.
I just want people to be safe.
The president, speaking to reporters on Air Force One this morning, said he decided to leave the G7 summit early to monitor and discuss developments in person.
The Pentagon has increased its defensive posture in the region, saying protecting American forces is the top priority. But officials tell CBS News the U.S. is not joining Israel offensively in its military operation.
President Trump said he wants what he called a real end to Iran's nuclear program.
Look at it better than ceasefire. We're not looking for a ceasefire. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple.
At Iran's border with Iraq, CBS News' Holly Williams spoke to Iranians who are stockpiling food and gas, some saying they believe the Iranian regime is frightened. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And we will continue to keep you updated on the conflict throughout the day and coming days on air and online. The newly passed state budget, the $115 billion newly passed state budget, is now on its way to Governor Ron DeSantis' desk. News 6's Mark Lehman has been looking at the numbers and tells you how this could help you save some money when it comes to back to school.
Leading up to today, there was a lot of concern that the back-to-school sales tax holiday wouldn't happen. Not only is it happening, but now families have an entire month to save on school supplies, and that's happening every year. It can really add up when it comes to the savings on some of the more expensive items like backpacks and laptop computers.
The Senate is now adjourned. Sign it down.
A long-awaited end to Florida's legislative session as lawmakers finally agreed on a budget and tax package late last night. Included in the measure is a recurring sales tax exemption for back-to-school items every August.
I think it's awesome. I mean, as a former teacher, that's kind of where we need stuff.
Chris Canone told us he was happy to hear about the tax break. Also included in the package is a permanent sales tax exemption on some hurricane supplies. Making that a permanent tax break, do you think that's a good idea?
Well, after last year, I think we needed it for a lot longer than we had it for, right?
The agreement happening 6 weeks after the House and Senate reached an impasse over tax cuts and 2 weeks before the July 1st deadline. It passed overwhelmingly late last night with Orlando State Senator Carlos Guillermo Smith, one of the 2 votes in the Senate against the tax package.
I also don't find a lot in this tax package that is actually helping working families. I see a lot in here that helps corporations.
Those remarks from Smith were geared towards the elimination of sales tax on commercial leases and business rents. With everything now passed, the governor has 2 weeks to sign the budget before the July 1st deadline. In Seminole County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
You may recall earlier this month we featured Hurricane Week here on News 6 and clickorlando.com. That's when we spent an entire week letting you know what you need to know to be ready for hurricane season. And News 6 anchor Justin Wormuth told us about mangroves and how we're seeing a push for more mangroves because some experts say they're actually more effective than seawalls when it comes to protection against hurricanes. Now, one county is turning to an unlikely resource to help put in more mangroves inmates. News 6's Angie Casada joins us now from the Volusia County Jail.
News 6 reported last month just the importance of mangroves here in the state of Florida and how they're one of our most effective defenses when it comes to hurricanes. Well, now Volusia County is taking that knowledge behind these gates here at the correctional facility and bringing it back into the community. On the grounds of the Volusia County Jail, hope is growing, leaf by leaf.
We actually started with like 4 or 5, and it's expanding, and our goal and vision is to do even more.
The county launched this program as storms kept hammering Florida's coast, and natural barriers kept disappearing.
What you see here behind me is various types of lettuces that we've grown. Behind it are some tomatoes. Also behind that, you'll see 2 greenhouses where we're growing mangroves to assist with the cleanup of the Indian River Lagoon.
Commissioner Matt Reinhart hopes this is just the beginning, not only for the coastline, but for the people trying to protect it.
I'm rewarded just by looking at this and saying this is what our vision was, and this is our vision coming to fruition. I can only imagine what the inmates are feeling as a result of that they're able to plant a seed in the ground and say, wow, look how it grew. Well, not just one, but look how it grew.
It's so amazing. And listen, this is just the start. The goal is to expand the program into a full inmate-run farm, aka more mangroves, more produce, and then hopefully donating back to local shelters. Reporting in Volusia County, Angie Casada, News 6.
And you saw that beautiful blue sky behind Angie during that story. We're still seeing a lot of sunshine out there today, but we do have some showers and thunderstorms popping along our East Coast sea breeze on the way for later today. We'll have a full breakdown of your forecast coming up and take a look ahead to the next 7 days coming up. And we'll also go inside Goodwill's clearance center that's located near Taft, and we'll show you how your unwanted clothes are getting second and even third lives. Stay with us. We're taking a short break. We'll be back in about 2 minutes.
Sharon, I'm going to guess?
Yes.
So nice to meet you. I'm Eric Von Anken, the handy newsman with Destiny as always.
Nice to meet you.
You got weather radios that don't work.
That's correct.
That's a real problem.
It is.
Can you show me?
Come on in, please.
Aha.
It's very staticky.
Okay.
Locations and tactics include Cross Creek and
I can't understand it. And then it comes and goes.
So you're not even getting the alerts?
No.
On top of the static?
On top of the static.
Wow. Okay, that's
pretty scary.
Really scary. We'll see what we can do. In order to get Sharon and you the right answer, we went straight to the emergency coordinator for Marion County. He says there's 3 things that you can do right now to improve your reception depending on how rural it is where you live. Step one, he says, location. So first, move the radio away from any sort of electrical interference. Things like, well, you can see Sharon has computers and power supplies. So even just putting it away from that a little further is a good start. Step two is to move the radio closer to a window, like you see Sharon already did. But which window matters? You really want to find out where your National Weather Service broadcast tower is in your community. So here in rural Anthony in Marion County, we found out the closest tower is that direction. It's in Ocala, so this would be the best window. By the way, we put a link for you inside this story on clickorlando.com where you can just type in your address and find out where your closest tower is. Step three, if you're still not getting a strong signal, is to install an antenna extender. Now, the instructions say to put the antenna straight up and down. But here's the thing, Sharon has a low roof, and of course she'd like to open her window, so she asked us to compromise and put the antenna here, which is still far better than not having an antenna. And the other thing that's really important is making sure your weather radio has the right frequency. So this one is the frequency for the Ocala Tower. You can find yours using that link on clickorlando.com. I'm going to get Sharon. Sharon, tell me what you think.
I'm excited.
Bay and inland waters are moderate.
Oh, wow.
Likely in the evening. Showers and scattered thunderstorms.
Much better, right?
Oh my God, thank you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Oh
So
my
glad
God.
to help.
Glad he could help you out there. It is so important to get those alerts. And remember, if you haven't already, you can always download our free News 6 weather app. We will send alerts where you are on your phone 24 hours a day. It is free to download. Just head to WKMG in your app store. And while you're there, you can also go to the pin it option and you can send me pictures of your pets that I will use on air each and every day. So we always love to see what you're doing. You can also send weather pictures, but we really like the pet pictures. So keep those coming. You can also check out the UV index and how much sunshine there is, and we know that it is important to take care of your skin, especially this time of year when that UV index is high. Now, for people with darker skin tones, skin cancer is less common. However, when it does happen, it's often more deadly because it's caught a little bit later. News 6 morning anchor Crystal Moyer has the latest on some tips and how to take care of your skin.
Okay, Mary, let's talk about sun protection.
Skin cancer is the most common cancer in the U.S., but for Black people, cancer signs can show up in unexpected places, and missing them can have serious consequences.
In Black patients, melanoma, the most deadly type of skin cancer, often appears on the palms, soles of feet, or under the nails, not on sun-exposed areas where people typically check.
Reggae legend Bob Marley's death at just 36 is a powerful reminder of how dangerous skin cancer can be. What was first thought to be a soccer injury under his toenail was actually acrolentiginous melanoma, or ALM, the most common type of melanoma among Black people.
Experts suggest doing a regular full-body skin check. And don't forget sunscreen. Even if your skin is dark, dermatologists recommend using at least SPF 30.
Finding a sunscreen that looks natural can be challenging for people with darker skin tones. That's why Consumer Reports evaluated its top-rated sunscreens on a range of complexions from olive to deep brown.
Our main focus was finding sunscreens that don't leave a white cast on darker skin. Turns out there are some great choices out there that work well for everyone.
Two good choices from CR's sunscreen study: Black Girl Sunscreen Kid Spray and Play SPF 50 and Supergoop Play Everyday Lotion SPF 50.
That was Crystal Moyer reporting. Did you know that the average American buys about 50 new items of clothing every year? And a lot of that will eventually end up in landfills. Now, there is a way to give your unwanted clothes a second and even third life. Photojournalist Paul Giorgio and I went behind the scenes at Goodwill to see how they are helping to slow down fast fashion.
You know, it's the idea of the treasure hunt. Everybody loves to hunt treasure, and that's what you're going to find here.
They say one man's trash is another man's treasure. And you never know what you're going to find.
Never
This is
know.
part of the fun.
Oh yeah, that is the fun.
That analogy comes to life here at the Goodwill Clearance Outlet near Taft.
Goodwill shoppers, this is your second call to join the line for the next rotation.
Here, there's no map to guide you, just the allure of buying clothes by the pound. Okay, is this what I've seen on TikTok that people refer to
The
as
bins, yes.
Okay, I've seen this. Goodwill Aftermarket Manager Angela Mangiovi showed me around.
Yeah.
This is a big, people are really into this.
This is a very big deal.
We watched as customers, many of them resellers, rifled through these large bins looking for that special something that others may have missed.
There's some really cute things here.
I quickly learned there's no telling what you'll find.
Oh
this
my
is
God.
some sort of unicorn onesie situation. Oh my gosh, that's fun. It's the last chance for items that didn't sell in Goodwill stores, but it's far from their final stop.
Once this rolls out of here, like you guys saw earlier, it's now going to enter into the aftermarket world. And in aftermarket, we sell everything. There's a lot of beeping that happens all day long.
This machinery runs all day and into the night, baling clothing and textiles, a visual reminder of how much clothing we buy. 65% of clothing is thrown out within 12 months of its purchase. But only a fraction ends up in places like this, where it's recycled. And that's the problem. 85%, or 11 million tons, goes to landfills each year.
Yeah, I would say I feel like this kind of brings some awareness to our own habits.
There's a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, so this next step here is this will be sold to vendors outside of Goodwill.
This is when our clothing becomes a commodity.
It takes about 45 of these to fill a load. So you're looking at about 42,000 pounds goes into one truck.
And then that goes all over.
That goes all over. That goes Central America, South America, Africa, Middle East.
Mangiovi says Goodwill Aftermarket has diverted about 50 million pounds of clothing and household items out of area landfills. And while it's not a perfect solution, it does extend the life of what we buy.
Instead of it ending up in a landfill, like this is going on to somebody else who has a need.
Okay, it was stunning to be in that warehouse and see all of the clothes, the stuffed animals, the textiles that get thrown out. And here's one very important thing I learned on our tour. Often when I'm going through and I'm deciding what to donate and what to throw away, if I feel like something isn't something that I would want to wear or consider usable, then I throw it away rather than donate it. And she said, don't do that, because even if it's a shoe without a mate or a skirt or a jacket that's ripped or stained, they can still turn it into that commodity and then break it down for its elements, and so that diverts it from the landfill. So that is good to know, because I had no idea, and I was throwing away a lot of stuff that I think could have been given another chance at a different form of a life. So if you want to check more tips out, we have that for you on clickorlando.com, and you can check out that story. Let's get to your forecast now, where we are tracking heat once again today, already heating up out there. We'll start you out with a look at the radar, and you can see that East Coast sea breeze is set up. That will move inland. We have seen some drier air moving in, so we did drop our rain chances just a little bit today to about 30%, but we'll still see some showers and storms popping by around 5 o'clock, seeing some of those moving inland, tracking toward Kissimmee, right along the turnpike. And then last night we saw some heavier showers and storms right along I-75 across our western counties. And by 9 o'clock, we could see similar activity again tonight before all of that winds down for us by around 11, 12 o'clock. But again, most of us will stay dry for most of the day. Look at our temperatures right now. We're already at 90 in Ocala, 93 in the Villages. It's 89 in Orlando and 88 degrees right now in Cocoa Beach. Factor in the relative humidity. Here's how it feels. Most of us are feeling like the low to mid 90s, but Ocala and the Villages, you are hanging out around 100 for your feels like temperatures. Normal high this time of year is 91. We are on our way to an eventual high of 95 in Orlando, 94 in Ocala, and Palm Coast, you'll go to 93 today. Here's how it looks for the next 7 days. Rain chances both today and tomorrow are at 30%. We begin to see a little bit more moisture right into the picture by the end of the week, so we bump it up to 40% for Thursday and Friday. Friday, by the way, is the first day of summer, and then the first full day of summer is Saturday. Rain chances go up to 50%, but temperatures stay warmer than normal every single day. I will break this down for you in much greater detail for you, including a look at the tropics coming up on News 6 at 4. Thank you so much for hanging out with us and spending some time with us on News 6 Extra. We certainly do appreciate it. I hope the rest of your day goes well, and I'll see you at 4.